You are traveling to another train of thought, one not from this century. You are entering the paradigm shift.
Well, good morning. This is the paradigm shift for March 5th, 2018. And I have a ton of stuff to talk about. I know I don't have enough time in the hour to do it all. I definitely going to go back. I'm going to start out with some Patrick Henry, and then we're going to jump into some other things. It's just crazy. There's so much going on. The government is just appears to be losing its mind. They can't look back at history and see the effects of what the actions that happened in the past. They seem, excuse the expression, they seem hell-bent on going to do the same thing over again, thinking that somehow we're not going to have the same results. But we'll get into that later. Today after this show, and again, I'll be quitting about 5 minutes early so that I can set up Suzanne Sherman's show. The Wasatch Report will be live at 10 a.m. Eastern. Last night, if you missed it, we had the Renegade and Rambler show. That'll be on YouTube. You can go find it there. Immediately following that, there was Daniel Bailey had an edition of the Bailey Report. His schedule is so messed up now. He used to do it around 6 a.m. every day, but now he's just doing it whenever he has a chance. And there was a live one last night, and I was his guest on there. We talked about a few things. We talked about a little bit of what we'll talk about today. And let's see. We have Mike Maharrey with a bunch of podcasts from the 10th Amendment Center. I think he has about a 2-hour block, and I think there's like 10 or 12, or I don't remember. He has a bunch of them in a row, and he's doing new ones now. So as he puts out a new one, I am replacing some old ones. So if you listen to all the Mike Maharrey podcasts in the past, there are some new ones being interspersed in there now. And as he has new ones, the old ones will go away, and he'll have new ones in there. Then we have the Brush Fires of Freedom. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's our friend Sean Hoffine out of Arizona. And immediately following his show, there's also the Friday Gold wrap-up from Schiff Gold. Again, that is Mike Maharrey, but he's doing podcasts for Schiff Gold. If you have any interest in, he talks about a lot of economic stuff. If you have a specific interest in economics, listen to the Schiff Gold Friday Gold wrap-up immediately following the Brush Fires of Freedom. Listen to that whole hour. It's a great hour. Let's see. And at 9 p.m. every day Eastern time, we have The Other Side with Justin and Mike. That's new. They have a few shows running on at 9 p.m. They have the ability to go live if they wish, and I hope they do someday. Go live, do some live shows. They're also on a local Indiana radio station, so if you look them up on Facebook, on their Facebook page, you can find out when that is live on their local radio station. So I think that's pretty much all the shows. So please listen to our radio.co stream, because there's something playing 24 hours a day. And if you miss the show, like tonight, Suzanne's show will play in replay tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you missed it now, you're not hearing me anyway. But if you can't listen to it now, you have to run off and go run errands or whatever, go ahead and listen tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll be able to hear her show in replay. And don't forget that we do have an app. You can download it if you have an Android. We don't have an iPhone because iPhone, it would cost us a lot of money to set up an iPhone app. Plus, we'd have to pay for the app. In the App Store is where with the Androids it's free. So that's why we have an Android app, but not an iPhone app. If there's somebody out there that wants to build us an app for the iPhone and is willing to pay for it, please do. We would appreciate any help you can give us. because this is all out of pocket. We don't ask for you guys to do. We don't ask you guys to send us money. We don't. This we do because we enjoy doing this, and we believe in our message. We believe that liberty ought to be the direct end of our government, as Patrick Henry says in that speech that we're going to get back into in a little bit here. Matter of fact, why don't I just get to that now? We're going to start this again. This was from the Virginia ratification debates, the ratification of convention. Patrick Henry got up on June 5th, 1788, and gave this speech. Again, like I said, this is typewritten. You can see the size of the print. This is an 8-page speech that he gave. And again, it wasn't typed out like this. In reality, he probably had very few notes. The genius of this man, I would not be surprised that he did not do this all ad lib for, it must have been quite a while, because I'm not sure if it's in this section where I'm reading today, or if it's another section where he asked for a little bit of indulgence from the chair because he's going so long. And he asked me to let him give a few more ideas. So let's start here. We've talked about, again, the very beginning. That's where I talk about this. The government should be there. The direct reason for government is to protect our liberty. And he goes, don't ask how you can increase your trade. And we're going to talk about that in a bit anyway. All right. Consider our situation, sir. Go to the poor man and ask what he does. He will inform you that he enjoys the fruits of his labor under his own fig tree with his wife and children around him in peace and security. Go to every other member of society. You will find the same tranquil ease and content. You will find no alarms or disturbances. Why then tell us of danger to terrify us into adoption of this new form of government? And yet, who knows the dangers that this new system may produce? They are out of sight of the common people. They who know, they cannot foresee latent consequences. I dread the operation of it on the middle and lower classes of people. It is for them I fear the adoption of this system. Was he not correct? Who pays the price of this government? That this what we live under today is because of the adoption of the Constitution. I said in a post, if this Constitution was truly limiting on government, and obviously, in hindsight, we can look back and see that Patrick Henry is correct. It really was not limiting. And he's going to talk about it being a consolidated government in a few minutes in this passage I'm going to read. So he really did see the future. And who is the ones that pay the price of the largesse and the excess of the people that are in Washington, D.C., the legislators there that have no limits on what they can steal and no limits on what they can spend and no limits on who they can kill around the world. So Henry was correct. All right. I fear I tire the page. Okay, here it is. What I was talking about. He was going to indulge a little bit of, because I'm already 4 pages into this. And this has taken me how many weeks to get through 4 pages of it? Okay. I indulge. Okay. What was I? I fear I tire the patience of the committee, but I beg to be indulged with a few more observations. When I thus profess myself an advocate for the liberty of the people, I shall be told I am a designing man, and that I am to be a great man, that I am to be a demagogue, and many similar illiberal insinuations will be thrown out. But, sir, conscious rectitude outweighs those things with me. I see great jeopardy in this new government. I see none from our present one. I hope some gentleman or other will bring forth in full array those dangers, if there be any, that we may see and touch them. I have said that I thought this a consolidated government. I will now prove it. Will the great rights of the people be secured by this government? Suppose it should prove oppressive. How can it be altered? Our Bill of Rights declare that a majority of the community hath an indubitable and unalienable and indefensible right to reform, alter, or abolish it in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public weal. Now, what Bill of Rights was he discussing here? And he was talking about his countries, and he early in this, he said his country. And what country was that? His country of Virginia. So he's talking about the Virginia Bill of Rights. And he's in there, it's giving it, the people have the right to alter or abolish governments. Let's think back. Let's put our think back hats on here now. What was the Declaration of Independence? What did Jefferson declare in the Declaration of Independence? He declared that we, the people, have the right to, matter of fact, I think he said duty, to throw off the bonds of governments that were not protecting our natural rights and our liberty. Has that changed? Somehow, have we somehow lost the natural right to self-determination and free association? Honestly, be honest. If we had it when Jefferson did it, Virginia had it right in their Bill of Rights, right in their country's constitution, that people could abolish these governments that became destructive of the end of defending liberty. And so Henry's saying, well, our country has this right. And in this new one, they're just somehow totally glossing over and ignoring the fact that the people are the ultimate arbiters of what the government can do. I have just proved that 1/10 or less of the people of America, if you think back to a couple weeks ago or last week, we discussed where he said a very small minority, about 1/10 of the population, could keep the rest of the population from amending the Constitution. Because he was talking about the Article 5 in the new Constitution, saying that a very small minority with designs, evil designs, could keep the Constitution from being fixed to the benefit of the whole. And he was correct. So he's going back to his point of earlier, where he was talking about a minority keeping the rest from amending this new Constitution. Suppose the people of Virginia should wish to alter their government. Can a majority of them do it? No, because they are connected with other men, or in other words, consolidated with other states. See, he's making the point. He's going to knock it out of the park that this wasn't just a benign new government. This was a consolidated government. When you look back into the Philadelphia Convention, where the Constitution was debated, if you look back at the writings after the fact, because this was all done in secret, they were all sworn to secrecy. No one knew what was going on in there until after the fact, until they came out and presented this new form of government. They destroyed the old Articles of Confederation and came out with a new one. When they were sent to Philadelphia, they were sent there with the only purpose of amending the Articles of Confederation to fix a couple of the minor details that were wrong with it. What they did is they had a new revolution, and they destroyed the Articles of Confederation, came out with a new government. But every time during that, Hamilton and Madison kept bringing up they wanted a strong national government, and they wanted it to have a veto over everything the states did, And honestly, if truth be told, Hamilton wanted a monarch. So what happened every time those two and the group that supported a national government, what happened every time that was brought up at the Philadelphia Convention? It was roundly voted down. The majority of the people there said, no, we don't want a national government. We just fought a revolution to get out of underneath a government that was oppressive. Now, and you want us to vote in a new one? It was voted down every time. Yet the Constitution came out, and I've had this conversation with our good friend, Suzanne knows him very well, Mark Crescent. I had this conversation. I said, I've told him a number of times that my belief is, and there's no way I can prove this because I wasn't there. I believe that Hamilton and Madison and that group built in the ambiguities that led us to where we are today. And those ambiguities are what Henry talks about, and his warning that it's going to become a consolidated government. So that's a little bit background of what he's talking about. Now he's going to shred it up as being a consolidated government. All right, let's see. No, because they are connected to other men, or in other words, consolidated with other states. When the people of Virginia at a future date shall wish to alter their government, though they should be unanimous in this desire, yet they may be prevented therefrom by a despicable minority at the extremity of the United States. The founders of your Constitution made your government changeable. Again, your Constitution, your government, his country, Virginia. So the founders of your own Constitution made your government changeable, but the power of changing it is gone from you. Whither is it gone? It is placed in the same hands that hold the rights of 12 other states. And those who hold those rights have right and power to keep them. It is not the particular government of Virginia. One of the leading features of that government is that the majority can alter it when necessary for the public good. This government is not a Virginian, but an American government. It is not therefore is it not therefore a consolidated government? The 6th clause of your Bill of Rights tells you that elections of members to serve as representatives of the people in assembly ought to be free, and that all men having sufficient evidence of permanent common interests with and attachment to the community have the right of suffrage and cannot be taxed or deprived of their property for public use without their own consent, or that of their representatives so elected, nor bound by any law to which they have not in like manner assented for the public good. But what does this Constitution say? The clause under consideration gives an unlimited and unbounded power of taxation. Suppose every delegate from Virginia opposes a lay of tax. What will it avail? They are opposed by the majority. 11 members can destroy their efforts. Those feeble 10 cannot prevent, again, he's talking about the feeble 10 from Virginia, cannot prevent the passing of the most oppressive tax law. So that in direct opposition to the spirit and express language of your Declaration of Rights, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, you are taxed, not by your own consent, but by people who have no connection to you. I'm going to stop there today. When I do not consent to the theft that this government perpetrates on me every time I collect a paycheck. Yet, do I have a choice in the matter? People that I have no connection to, people in Massachusetts, people in California, people in Washington State, in Oregon, and New Jersey, and all over, consent to taxes on me that I don't consent to. They place them on me. I have the obligation to pay. And if I do not pay them, they will send men with guns and compel my payment. See, this is the consolidated nature of this Constitution, where the Articles of Confederation did not allow this taxation. See how the seeds of the tyranny we live under today were sown in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Convention? Do you see how Patrick Henry is tearing it apart and showing all the weaknesses, all the things that today are the tools with which they oppress us, the way they steal from us, the way they send our youth off to die in foreign wars that we've never declared, and we're committing against other nations with illegally under international law. We've declared we're not at war with Syria, yet we're killing people in Syria. And I know there's obviously people out there yelling USA, 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 because we got to go over there and kill them. Well, if Mexico had a problem with somebody in Texas or Arizona, and they sent their military in there to start killing those people that were coming across and committing crimes in Mexico, would you be so forgiving and allowing of them to come into Texas or Arizona or New Mexico? Yet you have no problem invading other countries all over the world and thinking that somehow they have no right to be upset with us. All right. Enough of that. It's 22 after. I'm past a break. Let me make sure everything's set up. Got to hit the right mouse. This is the joys of producing your show and doing the show at the same time. All right. This is the Paradigm Shift on the Cerberus Radio Network. Oh my gosh. For you English-speaking folks out there, defending liberty and freedom from the flames of tyranny.
I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brawndo stuff.
The Brawndo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brawndo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look. The plants aren't growing. So I'm pretty sure that the Brawndo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Oh, well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah. Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brawndo's got what plants crave. Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know? It's what they use to make Brawndo. Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brawndo?
Because Brawndo's got electrolytes.
Suzanne Sherman, shooting straight on everything from prepping to politics. The Wasatch Report, every Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, on the Cerberus Radio Network. Cerberus Radio Network, protecting liberty and freedom from the flames of tyranny.
Well, welcome back to the Paradigm Shift here on the Cerberus Radio Network. we're going to shift gears here now. We are going to go to something else. We're going to go back to something we talked about last night a little bit later, but I wanted to get into this first. There was a memo that a meme that came, or a meme that came across my Facebook feed that someone posted. I don't know who. I can't even remember who it was. I shared it, and it was here. Let me go to this page. No, that is not it. Okay, I don't have it right here, but I have the article that it came from. Anyway, it was the top 50 lobbying spending, and it was for the year 2016. And what I did is I found this is an article from The Hill by Megan R. Wilson, and this is not a new article. This is a year old. It's from 2017, and it's titled "Lobbying's Top 50." So, 50 companies and industry groups shelled out more than $716 million in to lobby the federal government and Congress last year, according to data provided to The Hill by the Center for Responsive Politics. So, in this meme, there was, you could see the list, and I have it. I'm going to go to it and talk about it in a second. But the list listed the top 50, and the caption above it was, "Try and find the NRA in the top 50." And so I said, well, I'm going to take a little different tact here. I don't care that you can't find the NRA in the top 50. What I am going to say is, look at the amount of money spent and lavished on the politicians in Washington by these groups. So I'll go to the list, and I'll read off the top couple, maybe top 3 or 4. And this is from 2016. So the number 1 from 2016 was the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And how much money did they give to Washington politicians to get favorable legislation? Well, let's see here. 2016, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce gave politicians $103,950,000. National Association of Realtors gave their number 2, $64,821,111. Blue Cross Blue Shield, the medical industry, just one of them, $25,006,109. American Hospital Association, $20,970,809. Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, $19,730,000. American Medical Association, $19,410,000. Boeing, now we're into the military industrial complex, $17,020,000. National Association of Broadcasters, now we're into the media, the propaganda wing of the government, $16,438,000. AT&T, now we're into communications, $16,370,000. Business Roundtable, again, another group representing businesses looking for favorable legislation for their specific industry. They gave $15,700,000. Comcast, $14,330,000. I'm going to skip a little bit now. Here's Lockheed Martin, $13,615,811. Coke Industries, $9,840,000. I'm dropping down. I'm just going through it now. Microsoft, $8,710,000. And what did Microsoft get for all that money? They got Common Core, and Microsoft got to be the provider, the vendor of a lot of computers for Common Core. See how it works? Let's see. Oh, Facebook. Here we go. With the Facebook Nazis. The Facebook SS that puts you in the Facebook concentration camp if you have some idea other than what they approve. Facebook gave $8,692,000. And the list goes on and on and on. Oh, and again, you do not find the NRA in the top 50. They're in the, I'm sure they're in the top 60 or 70. And the list goes on well beyond that. But these companies give massive amounts to all the politicians in Washington to buy access to legislation. You don't think these legislators come up with these ideas for a lot of this stuff? Why do you think Obamacare came out and all these medical providers now are required to be purchased? Why do you think we have a requirement to have auto insurance? Somebody bought access to a politician because they knew it was a good idea to force you to have to buy auto insurance. They knew it was a great idea to force you to have medical insurance. So now everyone has to buy from them, without fail. So I went to another site, and I remember the name of the site now, but it's one of these sites that collects data to show why government's out of control. And you'll love this. So these are the top spenders again. Little different angle because this is for all years from 1998 to 2017. Be ready for this number. U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 1998, 2017. $1,411,255,680. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce gave politicians in about 19 years, in just 19 years, gave them almost $1.5 billion. Let that sink in. $1.5 billion. Did you ever wonder how these politicians go to Washington, D.C.? One of you guys, just an average Joe or an average Josephine, moderate means, maybe have a couple $100,000 in assets in the bank. And all of a sudden, return from Washington, D.C., multimillionaires. $1.411 billion from just the U.S. Chamber of Commerce alone. Now do you see how they're becoming rich? The U.S. Chamber of Commerce bought access to these politicians to get what? Favorable legislation. National Association of Realtors, $470 million, almost $500 million from the realtors. $500 million just from realtors. American Medical Association, $372,777,500. General Electric, good old GE. The CEO of GE went on Air Force One with King Obama to China when King Obama was still the elected king, and went to China, got a favorable deal, and moved a bunch of manufacturing from the United States to China. How can he do that without any opposition? Easy. Give government over 19 years $353 million, $772,000, or $353,772,000. American Association, Hospital Association, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Pharmaceutical of America. Okay, so let's start with American Hospital Association, $348,488,013. Pharmaceutical Research Manufacturers, $336,375,300. Blue Cross Blue Shield, $320,053,270. AERP, we'll put them in there too because it'll make sense. $274,331,064. Why would these folks do all that? During King Obama, we were treated with Obamacare. You don't think that all happened because, well, some of them might have thought it was a good idea because they're Marxists, and Marx and Saul Alinsky always say you got to take control of healthcare. That's the fastest way to control the people. But it's not all on them. You had all these organizations saying, man, it'd be a great thing if you force people to buy insurance. Then we got Blue Cross Blue Shield and you got AARP. They'll be out there selling insurance to the people around the country. And the American Hospital Association will be thinking it's a great thing. We'll be guaranteed to get paid by everyone because there won't be anyone without insurance. Everyone will have to have it, or they'll be getting big fines from government. See how this all works, how it all ties together. Let's see here. Let's get on here. Boeing, $259,683,310. Northrop Grumman, $255,352,213. Lockheed Martin, $241,738,668. Why do we need to be in perpetual wars? Because these guys have bought access to get them to buy stuff from them, and they need to keep using the stuff so they can keep replacing it. So now we're in these never-ending, undeclared wars all over the world, killing people, having our young men and women killed and maimed, so that Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman can get big contracts. They bought access. That way they can get these big contracts. Verizon Wireless, $232 million. AT&T, $229 million. National Cable and Telecommunications, $193 million. Doesn't matter how many millions at this point. Do you understand why these people are leaving Washington, D.C. now, multimillionaires? Because these people are buying access. These people are buying the votes they need to get favorable legislation. They're getting the votes they need to put barriers to other people entering the market. You don't know why the small business is going away? Because there's so much legislation, most of the small business can never overcome it. But a Walmart, an Amazon, all these big corporations that buy access, they can withstand this all the regulatory burden that's placed on business because they have the funds already. But mom and pop, they can't enter the market because they can't afford to pay for the army of lawyers they need just to open their doors. Or they can't afford to pay the $15 minimum wage that these people want to impose on people. See how government is not the solution to the problem? Government is the problem, as Reagan said. And everyone wonders why we don't have more people, more mom and pops. Why people are going to Amazon and buying stuff online or going to Walmart and buying their stuff. Why are they? Because there's no one else there. They've regulated everyone else out of existence. The mom and pops are going away. They're gone. They're going to be the dodo birds. They're going to be extinct. Why? Because these people lavish billions, not just millions, billions of dollars on our politicians, buying their votes. And you wonder why we don't like this government here at Cerberus for the most part? We're not against government. Again, Patrick Henry was not against governance. But let's go back to one of the first things he said in this speech from June 5th, 1788. You are not to inquire how your trade may be increased. Are those guys, and are those corporations, I'm not going to call them guys, are those corporations looking to see how their trade can be increased. What's the most important thing to them? Their trade, making money. See if they can make as much on it, if they can get enough, buy enough legislators to get what they want. You're not to inquire how your trade may be increased, nor how you are to become a great and powerful people, but how your liberties can be secured. For liberty ought to be the direct end of your government. See what this is what we're trying to get across, people. We're not anti-government. We're anti this government because it's destructive of liberty. So what do we do? Again, who has the ultimate power? What did Patrick Henry say in that piece we talked about today? Who has the ultimate power to change or abolish governments? The people. The government doesn't want you guys to know that. They certainly don't like the fact that we say this. And I'm sure at some point in the future, little old me or Suzanne or some of the others in the liberty movement are going to come in across the radar, big government, and they're going to do some. They have the ability now to destroy any of us. They can create any evidence they want. They can get any confidential informant to say anything they want. They can take the media and they can turn it around. They can doctor it. They can do whatever they want to us today. And they could destroy any of us. Ask Lavoie Finnegan's family if they've destroyed their lives. Ask the Bundys if they've destroyed their lives. And there's countless others. Ask the Weaver family. Ask the people of Waco, like we talked about last week, like Suzanne talked about last week on her show. They ultimately can destroy any of us now. And eventually what will happen if we come across, if we grow big enough, if this little radio station ever gets the reach of some of these other radio stations, they'll come after us and try to destroy us because they can't have us letting people know that you ultimately are the power. You ultimately are the ones that can abolish or can fix governments. But they don't want you to do that. All right, let's see here. Let's see what this one is. I should have had a second break opened up. I didn't. Not sure what this one is. No, let's see. Not that one. Let's close that one. Let's open this one here then. All right. I have no idea what's going to play, but we're going to play it anyway. Anyway, this is the Paradigm Shift on the Cerberus Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break. I'll come back, finish with one last thing. Then we'll close out this show a few minutes early so I can set Suzanne's show up. And the Wasatch Report will come on with a guest. She'll announce who her guest is. I'll let her do that at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And we hope to see you there. Please stay tuned. Start sharing with your friends that she'll be on. Let's get a lot of people listening or watching. Well, you can. There's no video on her show, but you can listen on YouTube, listen on Radio Co. The links are already posted up. Go to our Facebook page. You will find all the links. If you have, if you're limited on data, there's a low data stream link there. It uses very little data, so it won't break the bank. So find those streams, click on them, take you right to it. Share them. Let's get thousands of people watching today. I would love to see thousands of people watching or listening today. That would be awesome. All right, folks, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
You're going to have to put the hammer down to keep up with this trucker, Daniel Bailey, in the Bailey Report on the Cerberus Radio Network. Looking for a new custom camo dress or scarf? Tail Gunner Apparel. Looking for bath and body products for women and men? Tail Gunner Apparel. Looking for bed scarves and custom home products? Tail Gunner Apparel. Look awesome and feel even better. Tail Gunner Apparel on Facebook or at tailgunnerapparel.etsy.com. That's tailgunnerapparel.etsy.com.
Made love and then you cried. Remember when?
Cerberus Radio Network, protecting liberty and freedom from the flames of tyranny.
Well, welcome back to the Paradigm Shift here on the Cerberus Radio Network. We are almost out. We have about 10 minutes. Not quite 10 minutes. Holy cow. Time sure flies when you are all wound up. I was wound up on that last one because, honestly, if you're not wound up after that last one, I don't know what will wind you up. Seriously. Is it not apparent that this is out of control? That the money is flowing into Washington not to make you more free or defend your liberty, but to make someone rich? I mean, come on. What will get you worked up, and what will get you to finally start looking for real solutions and looking at what Patrick Henry said the solution is when in what we read today. All right. Last night, Daniel and I were talking about Trump's announcement that he's going to unilaterally, by fiat, place a 25% tariff on steel, a 10% tariff on aluminum. And the other day when I saw that on the news, I immediately went to Facebook and asked, would somebody please, in Article 2, show me where the president has legislative authority to pass taxes? Because a tariff is a tax. Show me where in Article 2 the president has that power. Again, let's just back up a little bit. The Constitution is not the law of the land. I saw that somewhere. As a matter of fact, I don't know. It might have even been in this article I'm about to read. I don't remember. I saw it in one of the articles I was reading. The words out of the writer's mouth where the Constitution is the law of the land. It was another one. I have it over there. It's not the law of the land. It is a blueprint for government. And as such, it placed limits on the branches that it created. The legislature is limited by the 17, depending on how you count them, 17 or 18 enumerated powers. That's it. That's all they have. So, like the other day, when I asked the question, name the article and section and clause where the legislature was given the authority to regulate firearms. Again, the only mention of arms is in relation to the militia, when the militia is used by the general government to fight a war. When they were called up, they were to be armed by the general government. Outside of that, the only mention of arms. There is no constitutional authority for them to regulate arms. There is no authority in the Constitution for the president to pass taxes on his own unilaterally by fiat. Okay. He wants to unilaterally ban bump stocks. He wants to unilaterally raise the age to 21 to buy firearms. Again, in Article 2, name me the section and the clause where the president has the unilateral right to ban anything, to legislate from his office, the Oval Office, with his pen, as Obama called it. He had his phone and his pen. Tell me where Trump gets the same authority. Where is the authority for him to legislate from the Oval Office with his pen? 717-467-1736. Call me and tell me where it is. Because I'm telling you, it's not there. Don't even bother. You don't need to. It's not there. So anyway, from Foundation for Economic Education, from Monday, February 26, 2018. This is just a couple weeks ago. Herbert Spencer was right. Protectionism is really aggressionism. I don't know if that's even actually a word, but it's great. Great in the headline. This is Gary M. Galls. Protectionism has long been a major theme of President Trump, and now he is starting to act on those promises. As with new tariffs on Chinese solar panels and Korean washing machines, remember we talked about that a few weeks ago. China and North Korea and others were upset because we were placing tariffs on these solar panels and washing machines. Okay, Ailes flies in King Obama's jet plane over to China, makes a big deal, and transfers a whole bunch of production over to China. And now we have a new elected king, and he's going to pass taxes. He's going to pass tariffs on these products being produced in China because now it's bad for America. So now we're going to start a trade war. I'm going to read a little bit. No, I won't. I won't have time to read that. But anyway, however, protectionism is far from a panacea promise. Instead, it inflicts government war on some Americans for the benefit of others. It inflicts government war on other countries. This is economic war. I read you the article, and I'll just read the headline. This is from Mises, How U.S. Economic Warfare Provoked Japan's Attack on Pearl Harbor. This is from December 7th, 2012. And last night I read this during the Renegade and Rambler show. But we passed all these different embargoes, and we committed economic war on Japan to the point they kept sending their diplomats to the White House, trying to negotiate a settlement so that everyone could be happy and we could avoid war. And Roosevelt just blew them off. And every time they came, he would pass some other embargo. Finally, they passed the last embargo. They embargoed oil. They embargoed steel. They embargoed iron. And so Japan was forced into a war with us. I am going to read one paragraph from this again. Because it's a good paragraph. At present, however, 70 years after these events, probably not one American in 1,000, nay, not one in 10,000, has an inkling of any of this history. So effective has been the pro-Roosevelt, pro-American, pro-World War II faction that in this country it has utterly dominated teaching and popular writing about U.S. engagement in the good war, quote-unquote good war. Roosevelt forced them into a war. Today, I don't have time. I don't have time for this article. Today, we have Trump opening an economic war, first with China and North Korea over washing machines and solar panels. Now he's opening it with Europe over steel and aluminum. We talked about last night, Britain's Prime Minister May and a lot of different prime ministers from the Europe were upset and warning that there would be a trade war if Trump goes through with this. These economic wars often end up in war, actual shooting war. Trump is putting us all at risk of a third world war, and it would be the world against us. Think about that when you think about how great an idea an economic war would be with everyone in the world that Trump is opening up. All right, I have to go. It's 5 of. Let's see here. Let me find my music to go out with. And just stay tuned. In a few minutes, I'll have Suzanne Sherman back on live at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Wasatch Report. Thank you for listening. This is the Cerberus Radio Network.